So the bridges have arrived. 009 bridge, fair price models, 4mm double O gauge, made in Britain. So I got two of them to fit that gap, and obviously I'm going to cut the length of the legs down and make them to the right height of the land. And we also got this from Fair Price Models as well, a 009 shed scratch aid kit. So ideal, very reasonably priced, and it helps the build move along quicker than completely scratch building these items. So yep, I'll show you me building one of the bridges and the engine shed and what I do to finish them off and paint and decorate them. So building the bridge kit, using some Mod Podge, little dab on a brush, and just basically slapping some on a little area. So a lot of this will be hidden anyway, so you won't see much of it. We're just putting little pieces on, be enough to hold it together, because it's the dry fit side of it is really good. So let's see if I can get this bit on while I film it. Sorry for the shaky hand. These kits quite literally can go together with one hand, he says, before disaster strikes. But yeah, the dry fit on them is amazing. I'm using Mod Podge because I don't have any glue, so that's why I'm using that. And this part needs constructed first. The pieces quite literally just fall off the sprue when you get them. Like for example, they've got one part that just kind of holds it in, and then all you do is just give it a little twist and they quite literally just fall off the sprue. That's the top part that will go on there. So I'll get these parts constructed, then I'll show you what it looks like on the layout and how I'm going to cut down the bridge supports so it matches the height of my layout, because the bridge supports are quite tall on this. I think they're 86mm I ordered. They had two different heights. There's an 86mm and 120 odd mil, I think. So the bridge support is that high, which is going to need cut down to about that height. So we'll carry on. Just wanted to show you the Fair Price Models kits, which I highly recommend as a kit for what I think they call it a kind of scratch aid, but you're actually building up the kit and then you've got to finish it off with brick paper or whatever other materials that you want to make it look like. Use paper or Will's sheet or whatever. So I'll see, but I'll get them constructed first before I figure out what I'm going to actually do as far as the finish goes on them. That's the first part done. I'll flip it over and I'll glue the other side, and then I'll show you a bit of progress further on down the line. You can see the height of the bridge support and how high the bridge would actually go. The kit's really good, and it's a good strong thick MDF that they use for it, but obviously that support's too high, so this is just a dry fit on this anyway. Now if I put bridge support in here, this little gap here and the little plug on the end there, a little tab, I'm going to cut that off, because if I push it in before the tab, it sits perfect height. So I'm going to cut the tab off so I can push it in a little bit further, and that will give me the extra kind of 10mm I need here. Now obviously with the square end of the second part joining in here over the layout, actually I'll move that polystyrene. So the two bridge supports, the angle actually works a little bit more acute. So if I kind of tweak it that way and tweak it that way. So you can see the two parts there, and then I have this end bit here. So whether I build another little rock support here where it goes into, I'm not too sure, or if I fabricate maybe another, mock up another end part similar to this part here, using maybe the excess that we get with the kit. Just wee parts there that I could cut up. I could put that in and kind of emulate the end of the bridge, the support, and then I can just cut it and trim it and have a track kind of go to the edge, and it's all going to go in towards that side plate. So yeah, these are the little problems that you come up with when you're using scratch aids and you're just kind of making it up as you go along. It's good fun, it's challenges, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So we'll carry on, we'll piece together the bridge and try and get it in position. I like how they've actually cut this little piece here, all the little slits in it so that it folds, and then it just slots into those little slots for the underside of the arch, which looks quite cool. So that's the first part of the kind of bridge construction, the basic frame, and we'll get them in position, line them up, cut the legs, and see how it all fits. I've also cut out the rest of the polystyrene and the pieces of that EB25 glue in order to get a nice flat surface there, nice and square, for where the bridge can slot in. So now that I've trimmed that up, and we can put that part in there, and that should fit nicely there. Then we can build up the landform round about it. So how I actually got the kind of accurate measurement for it was to butt the four pieces together, measure down 18mm, draw a line right across, then use my coping saw, and I'll do the same with this one. I'll measure down 18mm, draw the pencil line, cut as straight a line as possible, sand it flat. I think you'll agree it's perfectly straight. So we've now got our measurement for the pillars, and we'll get the other two done and get them in place. Sometimes the progress on the layout can feel quick, sometimes it can feel slow. Sometimes you've just got to put the hours in order to piece together kits like this. Again, it's a scratch aid and it's been customised to fit this area here. I like it, whether it's prototypical or not doesn't matter, it's purely fictional, so a bridge is a bridge. Once we get it finished up, get the track on, get it ballasted, weathered and aged, it should look the part. And there's enough of an arch there to see the rock work through the other side. So once we got all that kind of placed and lined up, we can then start finishing off the rock work and the ground shape round about the bridge entrance. Can't resist a little test run onto the bridge. There we go. Nice and smooth. That looks great on there. Ideal. Perfect. Very happy. Now to make it look realistic. Now we've got the bridge in place and the piers at the right height, I decided to mock up a corner piece that will fit in there It's a little bit wide, but it gives me an idea of what I need to make in order to fill that corner in up to the side. I've also got a piece of track that I've cut to fit that angle and shape, and we'll figure something out for it. For the engine shed, I used Will's brick sheet, the larger bricks, and I cut holes in it for the windows. I did make the openings a little bit wider prior to painting because they were a little bit neat, but yeah, that's the sort of effect I'm going for, and making it look like the rest of the whisky distillery with the white and the black. Had some Will's roofing tile sheets, so I basically cut one of them in half and used that for the roof. I like it, I think it looks good. The walls are assembled. I've dry fitted the doorway, these large doors, the small door and the window, and this side, and I've done the loading ramp door there as well. This gives me the opportunity to only have to actually, let's get light one in here, use this little stick, this area in here is all I'm going to have to detail, as it were, because these two windows here, that one and that one, will be visible. I might put a light in here so you can see part of what's going on, part of the loading ramp, barrels on it and some interior detail. And on this side here, I'm going to run a wall along here to enclose that scene, and it means I only have to detail this area, and this window and that door will be covered with blinds. So I've saved myself a bit of hassle by actually having the doors closed, and I only need to detail that part in there because we don't want to go over the top too much with this build. I want it to look good and I want to have good details, but I want to build it quickly as well. This is the warehouse put on the layout to see how it would look. I like how it's coming together, but it was time to crack on with the cornice, glue those parts together and get it all assembled. So that's the cornice and the pilaster parts applied to the upper parts of the walls. Looks really good. So I've still to paint the reverse side there and then finish off the roof and how I'm going to detail that. And inside you can see I've put down a thin piece of styrene for the flooring, and then I've got some brick sheet to make the walls on the inside. So we do have some form of interior detail. So yep, the warehouse is coming together. Just getting the first coats of paint on the doors and windows, and we'll get them fitted. Don't know about the big door. I might custom build some doors so we can see inside there. I'll probably have that door, which is the smaller one. This is the warehouse platform made out of the cornice from the DPM kit and a little bit of sheet styrene over top and painted to look the part. It fits a treat in the location and the wagons in stock move in and out of it no problem. Now that the platform's assembled, I like it. I think it looks pretty good. It's a decent height and the building position is spot on. So let's bring the loco and the wagon in. You can see it fits just nicely. Nice space between the platform edge and where the wagon's to be unloaded into the warehouse. So we just need to do a ramp into the warehouse entrance and the doorway. We'll get a couple of steps put in as well. Slowly but surely we're progressing. So the actual platform itself for the warehouse, I've used AK Terrain's asphalt, the diorama selection that they have. I basically use a spatula and I spread it across quite thinly. I like the surface texture that it gives, and once you add some grey washes to it, you can see the kind of grittiness and the little scores in it, which is perfect for a kind of warehouse platform. So yeah, very happy with it. And when it's stuck on the front of the building, it just looks ideal. Perfect. For the road surface and the entrance into the warehouse, I'm using a piece of card. It's basically building card that I've acquired, and I've glued that down into place and fastened it pretty securely, and it'll do the job. Next up on it is to add the actual asphalt texture and bring that to life. Now that the PVA has dried, I've used a rear section to try out the asphalt on it, and I've also used some of the sprues to frame up that area. Now I'm going to apply the tarmac or asphalt acrylic onto the courtyard area around about the entrance building. The little spatula works well, but I found that a little flat piece of styrene or something like a bank card or something that thin is really ideal for spreading it out evenly, and then you can work in little kind of shapes and patterns in it if you choose to do so with that. But yeah, I certainly like how this material goes down. Dries very quick and it's very easy to use. So here is the first layer done of the asphalt tarmac, and I wanted a little bit patchy and raised in other areas and lower in other areas to give it some texture and depth. We'll see how that goes. I'll lift up these little guides that I put in to try and keep it square on the road, and we'll see how that goes and how it dries. I won't be leaving it that colour. I'll obviously paint it grey with other light patches in it, try and make it look more used than freshly laid. And obviously in here I'll just put a bit of black acrylic paint, so I want that area still smooth for the building to sit on, not all rough because of this asphalt. Doing roads in the car park this way is the first time I've tried these techniques using the card and the asphalt. I like it, it's worked out successful, and I'll utilise it elsewhere probably on the layout. And while I'm at it, the crane got added to the platform, which also looks great. Perfect for the siding. So here's a little running shot, an overall view of the layout as it stands just now. So hopefully you've enjoyed this update. I appreciate everybody that interacts with the channel and comments, likes, subscribes and share. All the best, and I'll catch you in the next one. Some more exciting updates coming. Stay tuned.